We made it. So good. So good. I want to thank you too, Nancy. I know that you and I had a conversation earlier this week, and I was like, hey, you want to like go live on Rise Above Noise on Thursday? And you just jumped in and you were like, yep, I'm game. So thank you for doing that. I ended up with a week that I didn't have a guest, and you and I were talking about a program you're having coming up the end of September, and I thought this would be a really great idea to have that conversation. So thank you for being here today.
You're
And
welcome. I rose to the occasion,
you did.
rising,
We're
over
rising.
that noise.
Right. And that's the thing, right? Like perfection, what is that? Perfection paralysis is not a thing. Like do it. We're just going to do it. So before we get started in my favorite part of the week, which is talking about somebody else's gifts, I do want to just give my digital marketing tip of the week, which is not actually a digital marketing tip of the week, but I guess, and I think that you're going to be able to riff right off of what I'm going to talk about today. In the membership group that I have, Rise Together, every month we kind of focus on a different book. The first month we did Seth Godin's book, This is Marketing. We just finished, and actually I'm just going to go through it again in my head to read it again. We just finished Donald Miller's book, Marketing Made Simple, and I just can't get Donald Miller out of my head. It was fantastic. So this month we're going through another one of my favorite books, which is The Referral of a Lifetime, and by Tim Templeton. And what I love about this, and I think it ties in with what we're talking about, so everything is just so timely. It says, never make a cold call again, which I've never done. But the idea that I use from his book when I work with my clients or with the people in the membership group, the Rise Together membership group, when people are talking about just starting out on their email list, or they've maybe got a few people on their email list, and they keep hearing me say, you got to grow your list. You have to keep in touch with your people. You have to have those conversations. You can't rely on social media. It's too noisy. You have to serve it up pretty. And they're like, but I don't even have a list. And we go through the things, right? So we go through their LinkedIn, we go through their Outlook, if that's what they use, or Gmail, whatever they're using for email. We look at their Facebook contacts. And not everybody's right for your list, and not everybody's going to join your list because you need to have permission. But here's one of the exercises we do, is when you're just starting out and you kind of want to figure out who your people are. Take all the names, like download everybody from your LinkedIn. They don't let you download the emails anymore, so you're going to have to do a little bit of work if you want email. So for now, just get the names. And then same thing with, if you have Facebook groups or whatever that you're in and you've built relationships, and your Outlook, like make the whole list. Take the couple of hours to do the list. And then what I do is I suggest that you put all that on a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. You guys know that by now. And I make columns. I make column A, B, C, and X. And column A are the people who I know love me. I've done for them. They've done for me. They would tell anybody about me. So those are my, I love them up. My B's are people I know, okay, like we've had stuff together. I know that they have, it's good. It's good. C are people, kind of know, wouldn't feel that comfortable, but just kind of knowing that they're there. I don't want to take them off my list of people in my world, but just know that they're there. My X are people, why am I even in touch with these people? Like, why do I even have them on a list anymore? And so when you're starting out with your list, what I suggest that you do is you take those A's, and you can't email them through like Constant Contact or MailChimp or anything like that because you don't yet have permission. But I would say create some kind of a personalized message if it's through LinkedIn, Facebook, or an email, and just tell them what you're up to. I'm committed to my business growth. I know that you'd support me. Can I add you to my email? You have to ask for the permission. So two things are going to happen. Well, three things will happen. One is you'll get a yes or a no. So I guess there's two things. One thing is yes or no. So no is, okay, don't. And if they say yes, you can manually go ahead and add them to your constant contact or active campaign if you want to. Ideally, what you've done is if it's a yes, you've made it to make it easy for yourself. Don't make any more. Like that was a lot of work putting that list together. Let's make it easy now. Have a, do you want to be on my list? Yes. They press that button and they're self-selecting so that they go into your, whatever you're using, constant contact, active campaign, and they automatically get a nice welcome from you. Thank you so much for, accepting my invitation. Here's what you can expect. So make your list. If you haven't read The Referral of a Lifetime, highly recommend it. I recommend it to everybody that I work with, and start building your list now, because you guys, in the next few months, social media is going to be so noisy. You have to rise above noise by sharing your gifts with the people who already know you and love you. And I think that's a great lead in to talking about niching and bringing your people closer to you with Nancy today, who was so good to fill in my slot today. I'm going to read your official bio, Nancy. So Dr. Nancy Zare.
There, rhymes with care.
Oh, so she's a psychologist and entrepreneur. She helps coaches and consultants get fully booked by teaching them how to attract their perfect clients, sell with confidence, and get hired. Nancy is the author of several books, including Words That Sell with Style, and she's just about to be released, Compelling Selling. She created the likability system, which you can see trademarked behind her head there, so that you can be a magnet to your dream clients. Accredited in sales training and adult learning, Nancy turns education into edutainment. Her secret desire is to go racing on the Autobahn. Oh my God, you and my daughter. Be ready to laugh, think, share, and be wowed as she drives home the idea of how buyers buy. I'm so glad that you're here, Nancy. And what I want to tell people is, when I asked Nancy what her superpower is, and I love this, it's simplifying complex information.
Yes,
Tell
that
me more
is.
about that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a gift of mine, is that I simplify complex information. I am kind of a sponge, taking in all sorts of information and then being able to find the golden nuggets, the little pearl in the oyster shell, and, present that to my audience so that you don't have to do the digging and the searching. I can show you and tell you what that is.
Very cool. Now, so tell me more about how that plays into the work that you do.
So many people are aware. I'm a psychology major. In fact, I have a PhD in psychology. Many people are aware that there are 4 different personality styles or temperaments. In fact, this research dates back to the era of Hippocrates. And I am sure some people have heard of DISC or Myers-Briggs, or there are, it turns out, over 200 personality systems: colors, animals, fish, birds, dogs, you name it. I too have taken in this information, and I've created a way to look at prospects, to walk in their shoes, and I labeled these 4 styles: 2, 4, 6, and 8. So here's how it simplifies things. The numbers represent the contacts necessary for that person to make a buying decision. So the number 2 means that within 1 or 2 touch points, this person can say yes. Now, wouldn't that be helpful if you know you're talking to a 2 and you need to get them to say yes, or at least offer your product within that first or second touch point? The number 4 buyer takes 3 to 4 touch points. The number 6 buyer takes about 6 or 7. And you and I both know, Susan, that over 70% of sales are made after the 6th touch point.
Right.
And then the number 8 buyer takes 8 to infinity. They really take a long time to make up their minds.
Right. Well, and that goes into the whole nurturing. part of
Yes,
it all, right?
and
To
the
keep in
and the
touch.
exactly, and especially if you understand that your number 4, your number 6, your number 8 take a while before they can warm up to you and say yes, then yes, you need to reach out to them and follow up. In fact, I'm known as the doctor of follow up because it's so vital as a sales activity.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I'm digital, and I'm digital because we actually started our offline conversation this way too, about talking about introvert and extrovert. For me to pick up a phone is torture, which is why I love email and digital, ways to message people and setting up agendas. Like I can talk all day if I have an agenda and a scheduled phone call, but just to get on a call is torture for me. Tell me, like, how do you finagle that?
Well, because you're smart, and I know that you've got a lot of that, what I call the number 8 buying style, which is the person who likes information and
Mm,
likes to learn, and hence all the book reading that you do, Susan, and etc. And also number 8s do tend to be more introverted than perhaps the other 3 styles. So knowing that about you, you're smart enough to know that if you have to pick up the phone to make the sale, you'll do it. Am I right?
I will, I will message first to set up a call. I'm not
Okay.
somebody who just picks up the phone and someone goes, "Oh, Susan, you called me. I didn't expect that."
See that, and again, knowing the buying style of the other person will tell you whether you should have done that, like you said, by offering them, "I'm going to call you," versus being spontaneous and calling. So
Yes.
again, there are 4 different ways people respond, and when you know what their style is and you know the approach that they prefer and the words they prefer, hence the book that I've written, and you use them in combination, my God, it's dynamite. It
Mm,
makes all the difference in the world. Hence, you no longer feel like you are doing something. Well, you are out of your comfort zone because we tend to sell the way we buy. And so that means that we have one style we're dominant in, and hence we naturally connect only 1 out of 4 times. So we will be out of our comfort zone with the other 3 styles. But when you know that, and you know that it works, it's like, wow, it fuels the desire to keep doing it. Does that make sense?
So yes, that makes sense. Yes. So if I know that I'm getting on a call with somebody, then I'm totally okay. As long as they're expecting to hear from me, and and through practice and through a lot of coaching that I've had, now I'm able to, get to what it is that I'm talking about, right? To address the pain points that they're having, let them know that I've dealt with these things before and that I kind of feel the same way too, and here's some of the things that we can work together. Right. So again, Donald Miller's in my head. Problem, solution, how you feel afterwards. I get the problem. Here's what other people have done that I can help you with. And afterwards you feel calm and in control.
There you
Right.
go. There you go.
So those are kind of things that you help the people that you work with kind of work through. What does that look like when you're working with somebody who's, like, I don't want to sell. I feel so
I
silly,
love that
silly.
person,
Yeah. Tell me why.
the person who hates to sell.
Mm,
And yet, if you are a coach, a consultant, you are selling yourself, right? You're
right.
selling the contents of what your experience and what you know, and your unique way of pulling that together. You are selling yourself, which makes it very awkward for those of us who are introverts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we really feel like I don't want to toot my horn, and there's a humility about the fact I only know so much, others know more. I mean, it goes on, right? And we talk ourselves out of it. Hence, we talk ourselves into that place in our mind that says, who am I, to be making this offer and doing this? But who are you not to shine and be in your glory? Because
Correct.
God gifted you with with this talent, with these experiences, with this knowledge and know-how. Hence, you do need to offer that. You need to let your light shine, right?
That is so true. And I'm glad that you say that too. I worked, again, like I said, I worked with coaches. So I worked with Dolores on the Write Your Talk, Dolores Hirschman last year on the Write Your Talk. And it was hard for me to figure that out, that, you know, that imposter syndrome, the who am I just had this conversation with Shauna yesterday, Shauna Pelton, and we were talking about that. But what I came to realize working with Dolores was my big idea, my mission is that I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs, and each and every one of the coaches and consultants that I work with are making real change in the world. They're making ripple changes that could change the course of the world. And if they're not out there, if they're not sharing their gifts, it's almost being selfish. I say that a lot, right?
It is. And you see, what you're talking about is exactly what I do with my clients. I help them take their strengths, and I help them see how they need to position themselves and use that so that the hate to sell, they overcome it. It doesn't mean that you're going to be this va-va-voom, you know, I can't wait to, you know, be in front of a big audience and sell to thousands. But we do have gifts and we have talents, and we do need to share them. And just like you work with heart-centered people, you know, I do as well. Hence, I think that's my drive, my motivation to help people stand in their power,
Right.
and proclaim what they have to offer.
So what does it look like when people work with you? I'm just starting out in business, and I know you're very active in Pepper Lane, and a lot of those women in Pepper Lane are doing amazing things, and they're juggling a million things. And right, and there, some of them are just getting started out, and they do have that amazing support through Pepper Lane. But there's still that part of it, right? Like how do they find more clients? How do they sell more product?
Yeah, everybody who is starting in business, and even those of us who are perhaps farther along, we need to constantly do the marketing, as you know. You know, there's that roller coaster ride where if you're working in the business, you're not working on the business. Hence, there are these troughs, these low points where you don't have enough clients. And then there are the high points where you're just working, but you're not marketing. And so and that's why that cycle happens. But you know, as a digital marketer, that there has to be a steady stream of marketing in order to keep you in that flow.
Right, right. And the systems help that all work out so that you don't have to put so much money. Like when you have the system set up, you don't have to
That's
put
right.
that, right? So that you can continue to work in the business, and kind of the business is working on itself if you have the system set up. And then once you have a system set up, then when you have time to work on your business, you just set up another system that just makes everything so much easier.
There you go. That, you know, and that's why people need the gift that you offer. The fact that you are this techie person, but have a huge heart and care about making sure that the heart-centered entrepreneur succeeds.
Right. So I'm curious too, looking at your background there, words that sell with style. You get some words for me? What are the words?
So again, it goes back to the 2468 buyers,
Okay.
because the words you use for each of those styles is different. Let me give you a great example. Happened this morning with one of my clients. And Andrea is a financial advisor. Responsible for her own book of business. She actually works in the divorce field, very skilled in that particular area. And she is prospecting an attorney, and that attorney is a different style than she is. And she had sent him off a video, which we both thought he wouldn't watch, even though it was only 15 minutes. The guy is so driven, he's a workaholic, that anyway, we suspect he did watch it, and he sent her a one-line email message, and so she wanted to respond. And the way she developed her response was very courteous and mannerly, because that's her style, but that's not his style. And
Interesting.
while I'm not advocating that somebody should abandon manners, I am advocating that one needs to speak and use the language of your prospect. And in this case, the language was, you know, did the presentation make sense? What she had sent him the video. And that the word sense for his style is exactly the right word. And the next sentence was, is it logical for us to proceed? And again, logical is exactly the right word for his style. And the word proceed is the bottom line results of what she wanted to do, which was get an appointment and let's start working together.
I love that. Similar to, so, and then I love that you work with your clients to kind of figure that out about what they're trying to prospect as well. I've heard Beth Knaus, I think you know Beth through Pepper Lane as well, and she talks about the power words on copy, right? When you're writing for your website or for a sales page, you know, to take a look at all the words you have and then run them all through thesaurus and see what other words might just cause a little bit of a, what? Oh, you know, pay attention. Don't sound like everybody else.
I absolutely believe that that's a great thing to do because you do want to use fresh, vibrant words. And at the same time, you want to use the words that are appropriate for the style that you're targeting. And again, there are 4 different styles. Not everyone makes buying decisions the same way. So the number 2 buyer makes buying decisions in a haste. They're quick, bottom lines, results driven. The number 4 is heart centered and makes buying decisions based on relationships and how it impacts people. The number 6 buyer wants to make decisions based upon whether there's a process, an order, a structure, and we're following the rules because the rules are very important. And the number 8 is, again, logical, informational. They're making decisions based upon facts, logic. So when you understand that, you want to choose words that will capture that person. And the words that you use for number 2 buyer, which is typical copywriting, are urgency and excitement and drama and do it now or you're going to lose out. Well, that number 8 buyer is turned off. They hate that kind of approach. It feels like hype, it feels phony, and they don't go in for it. So you see how you've got to actually know your buyer, your ideal buyer, in order to find the right words, the fresh words that will connect with them quickly and authentically.
I love that. And I'm going to transcribe that and put it in my blog when we put this post up. One more question before we kind of start wrapping up. I have a question for you. So the number 8 buyer I'm interested in, and the number 8 buyer is turned off by the pushy and the buy now and all of that. And so how would you suggest to one of your clients to, I guess, court or nurture the number 8 buyer?
Exactly through a long time drip campaign that is automated through digital marketing. Hence, you want to give them articles, you want to give them blogs, you want to give them books that you recommend, you want to give them websites for them to look at. Information, information, information. This is a person who needs to take a deep nosedive into the subject area before they can accept you and what you have to offer. They have to get almost degreed or certified in your field to choose you.
Right. So you're me as the seller is establishing myself as the resource or the go-to in that area. And so I appreciate that you're talking about digital, because certainly that's where I live. But are there other things that you recommend for people to kind of keep the 8s swirling around us?
Well, the 8 is a reader, and the 8 is that information seeker. So you actually, email sequencing is the best way to work with number 8s. Gotcha. Number 2 is not a reader, and they could care less about information. They want a result. Just tell them what the result will be, how much will it cost, how much time, and their yes or no. So again, it's so different. It's so different. And this fellow that I mentioned, the attorney, he happens to be a combination of 8 and 2. So we knew that he's a fast decision maker, but at the same time, he needs all of the information.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So I think we could delve into this all day long. And I know that you have a Facebook group, a free Facebook group that people can join.
I would love for people to come and join our group called Relationship Builders for Sales Success. Builders, by the way, ends in a Z, not an S. The Z is for Zare, that rhymes with care. So Relationship Builders for Sales Success. This month, we're on gratitude, 30 days of gratitude, because gratitude has been shown absolutely to increase your business success.
Very good. And then, of course, gratitude. It's all about gratitude. I had to take a deep breath just then to just feel how grateful I feel that you're here today, that I get to do this. So Relationship Builders with a Z is your Facebook group. And there was more after, but you'll be able to find that with the Z. Where else can people find you? What else do you have going on for people who want to know more?
In case there's anyone out there who is looking for your niche, I have a 2-session workshop called Niche and Pitch, which is coming up at the end of September. It's an actual workshop because you're going to be guaranteed to identify the niche. And then the pitch part will be, how do you express that? And again, it goes back to your messaging, your words, because when you know your ideal market and you're niched, that's where the riches are, and that's when you'll be able to express yourself well. And that's an Eventbrite. So if you go to Niche and Pitch on Eventbrite, you'll find the event.
Awesome. Good. Anything else people should know? Where to find you, what to do to keep in touch?
I always have a free gift.
Okay.
I always have a free gift. So if you're looking for those 4 magical questions, remember the attorney, I had her ask the question, does it make sense? Is it logical? Those are questions you ask for your number 8 buyer. So if you would like to know what questions to ask for the other 3 styles, again, it's a freebie, just, right there in the Rise and Shine, if that's okay, or message me, they're welcome to get a freebie. The 4 magical questions.
Awesome. Nancy, thank you again so much for being here today. I really appreciate
My
you showing
pleasure.
up today.
Vice versa.